Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're enjoying the little things. Now, I just want to say what really matters and what's really important here are the small victories in life. Everybody talks about, oh, you got to appreciate the little things. It's the little things that matter, and that is so true. I mean, you got to appreciate the small victories in your life, the little victories that matter, you know? That's how I was feeling today a lot. I got really lucky when you ever get that perfect moment where you're driving, right? You approach a stop, the light is red. The light is perfectly red. There are no cars in front of you, which is a miracle, but there's no cars in front of you, right? You're driving, and you think for a second, maybe it'll suddenly turn green for me. Maybe just now, just a split second, it'll turn green for me. And guess what? It turns green. It turns green just for you and you alone. And it's like the perfect moment. It's like I didn't have to slow down. I didn't have to push on the brakes at all. The light just turned green and I just kept on pushing through. And those small victories matter. Those small victories, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. But for me, right then and there, when I was driving just now, it brought a smile to my face that I can get where I'm going even faster without the necessity to even step on the brake pedal. I could just keep on going through. And I like that. I definitely enjoy that from time to time, especially when there's nobody on the road. That's also a nice little victory, huh? That perfect moment where it's just like there are no cars around and you get the road all by yourself. You could do whatever. You could do tricks. You could, do pop wheelies out there. You could spin around and round in circles. You can drift back and forth between lanes. You could do whatever you want. Not that I've done that. My FBI agent listens to this, but not that I don't do any of those things. But my point is that what matters most are those little moments that you can enjoy for you. Those small victories. And those aren't necessarily, they don't necessarily have to be wins. They could be, what's the right word I'm trying to think of here? You don't have to be victorious in them, but they do happen from time to time, right? Like me getting that green light was a win, but how about that, like a piece of gum can be not a win, but it's a nice little pleasure. It's a nice little this feels good. This lightens my day a little bit more, Sometimes it can be food. Sometimes it can be like a little snack. Sometimes it could be the nice breeze, the nice wind, Sometimes that happens to me where it's like I'm taking a deep breath and then the wind blows in my face, like in my hair, like in the perfect way possible, like in a storybook kind of way where it's like, the world is fresh, the world is clean and whatnot. That's not necessarily a victory, but it's a little thing that I enjoy about my day. And what I like to do from time to time is take a deep breath outside and really just appreciate oxygen and my lungs, my body, the air around me, even though I think it would be so much fresher in like a forest or out in the real wilderness of some sort, but I choose to do it in like a parking lot of whatnot. So the small victories, first of all, you gotta notice them. If you don't acknowledge it, you don't notice them, then you're not really taking in the little things, right? You're not really appreciating those small wins, because then it feels like you lose all the time. You feel a certain inconvenience. You notice your inconveniences and your losses a lot more than you do the things that win you over from time to time. Now, that could be because you don't really care about the wins, right? Like me getting the green light, you're like, yeah, thank you. That was supposed to happen for me. I'm glad that happened for me. Let's just keep on rolling. But to me, on that particular moment, it just felt it wasn't like life changing, but it was like just getting somewhere quicker, or just something happening for me like that was really sweet. It was really nice. And I acknowledged it and I move on, you know? But our day-to-day habits, things that we do on a continuous day-to-day basis, those kinds of things also are the little things that matter. Let's say you get up and you get a nice cup of coffee, right? You get up, you get a nice cup of coffee, and they make it exactly how you like it, right? Sometimes it's kind of not there, sometimes it is, but they make it absolutely perfect that specific day. And you just got to acknowledge it. You got to be like, yo, this is amazing. Because as I was saying before, you sometimes look more at your losses on the day-to-day, right? So the little things aren't just, necessarily all the positive and great things, right? There are little things that bother you, that annoy you, that give you problems throughout the day, right? Because I also noticed I had a lot more, I don't want to say I was super angry, but I was a lot more annoyed, and I had a lot more sort of aggression that I was stuck in traffic. Because I seriously do not, I don't get it, dude. Just drive. But somebody just decided to get in an accident on the road. They decided to crash their car into another car, and then they block up one lane of the road. So then the cars behind them have two options. They either ram into the car, making an even bigger mess, or they move over, and then they move over, and then the next car and the next car. They all move over until nobody knows how to drive anymore. Nobody knows how to slow down and make room for each other. Nobody knows what it means to save space or to go to a reasonable speed limit, so that way everybody can just keep on driving through at a good pace, Instead, everybody has to stop, everybody has to halt, everybody has to stay in traffic for forever until you can finally speed up and move. And you're like, why weren't we all doing this? Why weren't we all just driving? Those kind of things bother you. Those, it's time wasted, yes. But in the grand total, I still got home. I still got, I still made it back. I still got here. And I found that I had a lot more negative emotions today than I appreciated the green light that I just experienced, And that's not the kind of energy I want to put out into the world. That's not kind of the emotions I want to spread, is my, hostility and whatnot, my forever, annoyed attitude towards traffic. But hey, I'm only human. But what I'm trying to say is that in our day-to-day lives, in our day-to-day habits, the things that we do that we don't even, we don't really even acknowledge it. We're just kind of like, yeah, I just do that. I wake up and you wake up and you get a coffee. You wake up and you go to the gym. You wake up and you do whatever, You put on a little peaceful, you're driving to work and you put on a little meditation music or some white noise background, rain falling, something to like kind of wake you up, but it's still kind of soft and quiet, so that way you don't have to blast music or do anything of that. Or something like a soft mellow song to wake you up just a little bit. Not too loud, not too soft, but just somewhere, just somewhere to ease you into the day a little bit. Those are the little things, and those are the little things that we do. And everybody's so different. Everybody has a different thing for them, And that's why it's so important to appreciate them instead of just getting so used to it. Because when we get used to it, we become numb to it. We start to to lose those little things. And then when they're gone, like say something completely changes, you start working the night shift. Now you're kind of like, oh, well, I kind of missed my morning meditation, but at the same time you get extra sleep. So I guess it's not such a bad thing. I think it's more so, what I'm trying to get at here is a lot more appreciating who you are and what you like to do. You know, enjoying the little things is just looking at your life, the things that you do daily, the things that matter to you, or the things that you like, and just appreciating it for a little bit. Because if we don't appreciate ourselves, we're far more likely to loathe and hate ourselves. And I think that happens so often or so many times because it causes us to not really take in who we are, or not to really appreciate the things that we do to have a good attitude, to be in a good mood, to be in the best mood possible for whatever we have to do for that day. Those little things that matter to us, so that way we can feel good about ourselves, and then we can feel good about doing whatever it is we have to do. Now, sometimes that could just be our job, right? Sometimes you get the perfect dream job. Like, let's say you want to be a teacher, right? Your perfect dream job is to help these kids learn as much as they can. That's great. You know, you're putting good energy out there. But when it comes time to that little drive to work, right, just before the kids come into the class, just before, you know, everything starts, before your whole day begins, you just have to feel that moment, right? That moment before all of the, you know, whatever the day may bring. Your kid, you know, pees in class, your kid starts throwing a tantrum, your kids get sick, throws up all over the place. You don't know what's going to happen. But before all of that begins, before all of that takes place at your job, at school, you have a nice, think about this, right? You wake up and you're about to have to talk to a bunch of kids throughout the day, and you're going to feel like you can't really be your true self because you have to be like this good version of yourself. So you can't really be your true self, sort of. You have to be kind of like this clean-cut version of yourself. Not to mention your boss, the principal, or whoever else is above that. It's kind of like jamming you down your throat like, this is the curriculum you have to teach and blah, 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 you know. But before all of that, you have your cup of coffee and you get, I'm telling you right now, you get what is quite possibly the warmest, softest, like just a perfectly, with a little bit of a crunch, you know, not too crunchy. I mean, the exterior is a little bit like crispy-ish, but it's also pretty soft and warm and just light, right? You have a nice cream cheese bagel, and that just gets you ready for the day. You know, it helps you tackle the world that is these kids, this school, this lifestyle, this teaching job that you have no idea how you ended up there, but you're doing it, you know? And I'm telling you, that bagel saves your life. That bagel puts you in a positive mood. It gets you ready for the day. And just before those kids come rushing in, it gives you the energy, you know, to put up with all of their failures, to put up with all of their, you know, whatever it is that they're doing. If you begin the day strong and positive and in a good note, chances are the rest of the day is going to go just as swimmingly. Now, things will knock you off course, no problem. But that's why you got to appreciate the little things. And you got to appreciate yourself. And one of the ways you can appreciate yourself is with a good breakfast. And might I suggest a nice, soft, yet warm and crispy with a good amount of cream cheese bagel. Not to mention your choice of drink, you know. Maybe you're not a big, perhaps you like tea in the morning, but I say get a nice good cup of joe, cup of coffee. And you know what else? Enjoying the little things makes you just have a little bit more fun, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with having fun or jumping for joy for the things that, just the little things that have no real matter. Because, listen, if you can have fun in small things, when big things really happen, you can have just as much fun, right? It's like if you have like if I got super like I'm not gonna say I got like crazy excited, but I had a little moment of like, woo, yeah, dude, I felt good, right? Now imagine if I had lifted that up when I got the green light. Imagine if I just took it up all the way to a 10 and I was just like, yes, let's go. I did a little break dance in the middle of the street, as I'm like doing my thing in the middle of the street. The green light is still up and I start break dancing in the middle of the street outside of my car. I pop it open, I park it, I start doing a little dancey dance, and then I get back in and I start going, That would be a 10, right? But I didn't do that. I took the little victory and I kept it at a medium 4. I like at a 4 level, I had like a little woohoo, a little moment for myself, right? A little like, nice job. Man, that was perfect. That felt so good. But if I had taken it up to a 10, imagine if a 10 came around, then I would just explode. Right? It wouldn't even be a 10 anymore. It would be up to 100, right? You would just go crazy. You would be like, yes, that the level of joy and intensity raises up. And you just feel like you're on top of the world. So, who knows really? But then again, if I treated every small moment like a 10, then nothing would really be a 10, right? Everything would just have the same level of intensity and excitement and stuff. And then, is anything really special? You know what I'm saying? I guess maybe that's me subconsciously. That's why I didn't like go crazy with it. It was more so like, all right, that was fun. I had that felt good, but it's not 10 level worthy, But you should still have fun. You should still enjoy those little things that matter to you. Those little things that give meaning to your heart and to your mind, I think about when I'm walking back to my car. I'm walking back to my car and I feel a little dryness in my throat, or, I have like a dry mouth at the moment. And I'm kind of like, man, a nice bottle of water would be amazing right now. And as I'm walking back to my car, and then I notice, oh my gosh, what's that oh, look at that. I just so happen to have a water bottle right here filled with water. And then as I'm walking out in the sun, out in the fresh air, I open it up and I start drinking it. And you're just like, you feel that refreshment. Now, I'm not going to say I have the most fun with that, but in that moment, that satisfaction, that refreshment right then and there is fun. It's cool. It definitely, I'm not going to say it's like super duper exciting. It's just water. But it does give me a little bit of joy. It brings me joy. And that's what I kind of like. And it's kind of what I'm trying to say is that you got to find the joy in those small things that we do every day. Having more fun isn't just about, isn't just about planning on your day off from work or whatever it is that you're doing. It's not just about doing it on that one day, because then you all you have is one day to really enjoy yourself, or one night, or one, specific moment, right? Whereas if you can have little moments throughout the day, you'll find that you'll find that you'll have a lot more fun, a lot more often. And that's something that keeps me going. It's something that keeps a lot of people going, I think. Finding the small, honest, and good things that matter to us. And it helps us move forward, especially when we, I don't know, maybe dislike our jobs, maybe dislike the paths that we're leading, maybe dislike or don't even know where we're going or where we're headed or what's going on next for us. And I don't think it's a bad thing to want to have a little bit more fun day to day when we're trying to figure it out. And part of that is also, as I'm walking and I'm drinking my water outside and walking back to my car, I'm also listening to music. Music cures so many things, and it makes us, I tell you, when you're sitting there and you're listening to Pink Pantheress and Ice Spice singing Boy's a Liar Part 2, you just, all of your troubles melt away. And at that moment, all you can think about is just like, is about that chorus, all about that moment. You know what I'm saying? When it happens, when it comes up, when you have the same, 3 songs on repeat over and over and over again. And music isn't just a little thing. It's a very big and important thing. But because there's so much out there, there's so much music, so much day-to-day stuff, it becomes small to us, right? Because it's so accessible now. Because it's so easy for us to find like a little sound that we like, or a little 3-minute song of our day. It matters a lot. I believe the right song, the right music, the right album, the right whatever changes your mood. It affects what you think of for the day. It either prepares you and gets you in the right state of mind, or it holds you back and makes you feel sad and, brings you down into depression. Which some people like. Some people like listening to that music, daily, on a consistent basis. And then they're able to smile and still have fun. Maybe that works for them. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it works for me sometimes. But that's also one of the little things that we kind of look at. We have to take that into consideration. We have to take in and realize, what is it about music? What is it about this particular song? What is it about this particular, this particular kind of music that does for me? Now, I know it's kind of just like, oh, well, it just so happened to be on. Oh, it just, it was on my playlist and, I completely forgot about it. Or it was on my playlist and I've heard it so many times. I just love it. It's completely amazing. That's great and all. And I'm not necessarily asking you to nitpick and think about every single thing that you do on a constant basis, all of the music that you have, and be like, why do I like that? Oh, wow, yeah, I think that gets me. No, it's a feeling. As long as you know what it makes you feel. If it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel sad, and you're like, I'm in a mood to feel this emotion right now. And if I don't feel this emotion, then I probably won't be able to feel anything else for the rest of the day, because you'll be thinking about it all the time, right? If you don't let out that sadness, if you don't let out that feeling every now and again, you're definitely going to hold on to it a lot longer, and it's just going to mess you up for the rest of the day, which is not what you want. You want to appreciate and love yourself, and that's what really matters in all of this. And also, the I also believe it's kind of about the little goals, the small goals that you create on a daily, your small goals throughout the day, really. Because there are any number of things that you should and could and want to get done daily, right? And these accomplishments, the more and more you finish and tick them off the list, the better and better you feel, right? So for people who are trying to get into shape or exercising a lot more, it's about, okay, I want to be in good shape. How do I do it? Well, I wake up in the morning and maybe I go for a run, or maybe I sit outside and do like 10 push-ups, or maybe I go outside and do some jumping jacks, or whatever, right? Then after you finish that, you're like, I feel good. I feel better. You know what? I'm going to have a salad for lunch, or I'm going to eat like an avocado toast for breakfast, and I'm going to drink nothing but water for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at your accomplishments and you look at how good you were, then the rest of the day you're like, I want to keep on doing good. I want to keep on feeling this way. I keep keeping on to do what's good for me and what I like and what, makes me feel happy in my life, right? And exercise and, keeping up with health is very important. Having a healthy lifestyle in general is important, but also just focusing on the things that you control in your life, what you can accomplish in a day, depending on when you wake up. Because I feel like I get so much more done when I wake up early. And then you kind of just like, all right, now that I've accomplished all of this, there's so much more I want to get done. There's so much more I can do. And I like that. I like that moment. I like the feeling of getting something done, of accomplishing something, of getting to enjoy my day, or accomplishing something, and then guess what happens after that? I get some free time. I get some me time. That's cool, and that's a very big deal. But it only happens when we accomplish the small goals in our day-to-day life. So, let's say you're like a college athlete, let's say you're just a pro athlete, right? Now, at the beginning of the day, let's say it's game day, right? Game day, and you're about to go out there, on the field or on the court or whatever it is that you're playing. And the first thing you do is, all right, let me do a little bit of a warm-up. Or the first thing you do is, obviously, you wake up. Maybe you exercise. Maybe you go to the gym. You're like, I got to get my morning pump on, because if I do that, I'll be warmed up. I'll be ready to go. And then on the day when we start, I'll be fresh. I'll be sharp between the ears. I'll definitely be ready for whatever comes my way. And and when you accomplish that, everything else just becomes super easy. Everything else just makes sense. Everything else just doesn't feel like such a chore. It doesn't feel like it's such a difficult thing to do, right? Simple things, simple steps, and simplifying things make things so much easier for yourself. Because the game of, let's say the game of football, right? It's like every single down, every single possession, every single time you get the ball across the field, yard by yard, feet by feet, inches by inches, right? The more and more you feel accomplishment, And the more and more it pushes you to keep on moving down the field, to keep on trying to get that touchdown. And those small victories help them to win. Help them to chase something that they all want, and that's the glory of winning the whatever trophy, or being deemed the best of the whole football league, or the best in basketball. You know, you're all chasing that number one spot, and you're up there, and nobody can take that away from you. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta say that must feel pretty good. Now, the other little things that matter are what other people do for you. How often do people willingly do things that comfort you, do things that service you, do things that make your life just a little bit easier? All right? Because I think that there's so much that people do for me on a day-to-day basis that lightens, that frees my mind of a little bit of inconvenience. And I'm not going to say hardship, but it's just, a small little problem that's dealt with or pushed out of my way because, well, I have other people who support me. I have other people who take care of that stuff for me. And that matters to me so much that I don't have to necessarily have that weigh on my mind so much that I can just take that responsibility or that feeling off of my shoulders. And I imagine, you ever imagine what the CEO of like Starbucks feels? He's like, I started making coffee, and then the next day, he or she is the CEO of the whole company, and now they got millions upon millions of baristas making coffee for their business, for what they started doing. You know what I mean? Isn't that cool? Or like when like a chef has a bunch of other chefs who cook multiple meals for obviously the customers and for his restaurant or her restaurant. You know what I mean? There's no way you would be able to accomplish all of that. There's no way you would be able to fully be at a high level of a restaurant, of cooking, without multiple people helping you. And appreciating them. And being like, thank you for doing that small thing that matters to me so much. Now, obviously, you help them out by paying them off. You give them a salary, you give them a job. You pay them for their service. But there are also multiple other things that people do for you that maybe sometimes we take for granted. Sometimes we take those people that do those little things for us, and then when maybe they end up leaving us. Maybe they end up feeling a bit taken advantage of. They feel like sometimes you're just using them because they do this for you, and you're not really giving them anything back. Which is another thing, is you gotta find a way to give back, even if it's just a little bit. And don't do it just because they do something for you. Do it because you want to do it. Because then eventually it'll feel less of like a, like you're paying them back. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like you're paying them back. It feels like I'm doing this because I want to do this for you. And you're doing that because I assume you want to do that for me. So it's a nice exchange, I feel. It's a nice back and forth of like, I don't do it because you do this for me, and you don't do that because I do this for you. I do it because I want to, and you do it because you want to. And we both are able to give each other that gift, that moment of, I care about you and you care about me for no other reason than you just care about me. and you want to care about me. And I appreciate that. And thank you so much for the things that you do for me. And it matters. Some people might tell you it doesn't matter, but it definitely matters. And what enjoying the little things does, what enjoying these little moments in our lives does, is it helps us have a better relationship with ourselves and with our lives. It really does make me love myself a little bit more. And it can make you love yourself a little bit more. Looking at the things that I do for me, the things that help me be happy, the things that help me be in a good mood. If certain things didn't happen, maybe I might be a little bit more crankier. I might be a little bit more this, a little bit more that. It's also kind of doesn't give me like a calm or peace of mind. It just makes me feel like I did something, or like I missed something of my day. And what's important is that you can love yourself and give yourself so much if you really focus on what you enjoy, what you love. And that's something that nobody can take away from you. Whether or not you have somebody who, whether or not you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or, a partner or whatnot, it doesn't matter if they're there or not to give you the little things. You can give them to yourself. You're able to love yourself. And that's such a good feeling to have, that no matter what, I can rely on me, I can love me, and I can support and emotionally be stable, understanding the things that balance, that help balance the good things in my life. Because you know better than anyone what bothers you. You know better than anyone what annoys you, what gives you the ick, right? You know those things. But what we sometimes take for granted, or what we miss a lot of times, are the little things, are those small little details that we somehow skip. We somehow just completely let it go over our heads and just go like, yeah, like that was supposed to. No. Something went your way. Something good happened to you. However small it was, however quick it happened. Appreciate it. Love it. And give that love to yourself and let it be like, yo, things are lining up for me. Things are going well for me. Nothing is really all that bad. And by doing that, you're able to spread a lot more happiness, a lot more joy, and then that will reflect on other people. They'll be like, that person was really nice to me today. And you know what? Maybe I can be a lot nicer to myself. It's a continuous cycle, right? If we can all just acknowledge that we're all fairly good people. We're all really just trying to be loved, just trying to be happy, just trying to enjoy our lives and the little things inside of them that matter to us. There's not much. There's not too many little things that we often discuss or be like, you know what happened to me right now? Or like 2 seconds ago, I went straight through on a green light. And there were no cars around. There was literally nothing else going on. It was at a red light. I was driving up slow. I was driving up to it at a normal pace, and I was kind of like wondering and hoping, would it change green for me? If it didn't change green, no problem. I can stop at the light. It's no big deal. But if it does change green, just for me, and I don't have to slow down even for a second, and I still get to go through, I would really appreciate. I would love that moment. That would be so much. That would be so great. That would be so cool. And then it happens, and you're like, yo, life is good. Things are going my way. Everything is lining up. The stars have aligned perfectly for me, or whatever, if you believe in that sort of thing. So all in all, when you're enjoying the little things, have fun and really take it in, because sometimes you feel like you can't really, it feels like you're not getting any wins. It feels like you're not getting any, it doesn't feel like you're accomplishing all that much. But if you can just soak in those small little things, those little moments, you'll start to realize all of the benefits that life is giving you, and all of the benefits of being yourself and loving yourself and the possibilities of your life. I think it would be really good. So, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. It means so much to me, and I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you.